get your formula sheet out, the one where we're writing all our stuff down. Sine curve on the left, cosine curve on the right. And today we're going to talk about vertical shifts. Okay, today we're going to talk about vertical shifts. So you find that and put it, get it down, and then I'm going to look for all my notes. Okay, so a vertical shift. Look, guys.
I'm sorry.
So this is my equation right here. Who is messing with the vertical shift?
D.
D. Okay? He's not with an X. How do you know if something's with an X?
It'll have an X next to it. It'll be in parentheses.
There you go. It'll be in the parentheses with the X, okay? So D is messing with my vertical shift. He is going to move up if it is a plus sign and down if it's a minus sign, okay? So what you need to write is that a plus D will move up D, okay? Remember that when you write on your answer sheet, in your horizontal and vertical shifts, you have to put direction and number. If you only write the number or you only write the direction, then I'll count it wrong. And you cannot use signs to write directions. Okay? I'm talking about plus or minus signs. All right? So minus D would go down D. Cosine's exact same way. Vertical shifts. So a plus D is going to go up D, and a minus D is going to go down D. All right, everybody okay?
Yes,
So the object of again today is we're going to work two problems. We're going to start off with one that's a little bit easier, and then we're going to do the last one, and he is going to be the bomb. He will have everything in it, and I will try to trick you. Okay?
That's not me.
Then I will pass out your worksheets, and I will give you the rest of the class to work on your worksheets, but there won't be tons of class left. Okay? So I may give you like 15 minutes off of Fridays, and then just start a little something on Friday. And then I'll teach on Monday. We'll write equations. I'll teach writing equations. I'll give you Tuesday to work in your class on your worksheet. Okay? And then we'll test Wednesday, Thursday.
Are you gonna have two worksheets, or is that worksheet?
The worksheet that I'm giving you today is actually, it's due Monday, and it is two worksheets.
Oh my goodness.
There is a worksheet on it, but listen, I'm giving you like almost 2 whole days in class to do it, okay? So I don't feel bad about, it's gonna take you some time. Like I promise you, when you start working on that, like tomorrow, my goal would be to try to do three problems, 3 graphing problems in class. Okay? And you would be lucky if you could do 3 in class. Because the first time you do one, especially if you haven't been like working one like we just did, then it'll take you 20 minutes to do it. And then the second time, it'll take you like 13 or 14 minutes. And then the third time, you'll be flying through them and they don't take you that long. Okay? So, but when you first start doing them, they do take you a little while. All right, so here's our first problem. Are you ready?
Sure.
Flip this paper.
It really don't matter for me.
So this is example 6. Okay, we're gonna kind of do this together. We're gonna do it in kind of in pieces. Okay, I'm gonna say I want you to do this. You have a minute, whatever. Y is equal to 3 times the cosine 2x plus 2. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and write down all the stuff that we're going to find because I'm going to add some stuff to it. I didn't think we had enough stuff to find. So, amplitude, period, horizontal shift, vertical shift, max, min, x-intercept, y-intercept, domain, and range. Okay? And then we're going to draw a little x-axis right here. And how many tick marks are we going to put on it?
multiple.
9. Okay, I'm not gonna draw our y-axis, because you'll just end up erasing it. Alright? So, everybody got that down?
I'm not cool.
Hurry up. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to rewrite this equation if you think it needs to be rewritten. Okay? Remember that you have to factor things out and stuff, okay? But, if you think it needs to be rewritten, I want you to rewrite it. Alright, so let me ask you a question. And if you factored this 2 out, can you factor it out of this guy?
No.
Yeah, this guy's not an X. How do I know he's not an X?
Not in parentheses.
Yeah, he's not in parentheses with the X. If he were an X, it would be parentheses like this. You understand? So if you wanted to rewrite it, really, the only thing that you could do is this. Okay? I mean, I wouldn't have rewritten it, but some of the kids this morning, their very first thing was, we need to factor out. So I said, oh, okay, you go factor out. All right? And then they all had to erase their problem. Okay, so,
Yeah, I have to.
amplitude. What is my amplitude? 3. Okay? Period. How do you find the period? What's the formula? 2 pi over b. What is b?
1,
2.
2.
Okay? It's the coefficient of x.
Yeah.
All right? So 2 pi over 2 is pi. So the period is pi. Horizontal shift.
Three.
Right.
There is a 1.
Thank you.
Not
Thank
wait.
you. Y'all, there's not one. What did you add or subtract to this x right here?
No.
Nothing. Okay, so here's my question. If there's not one, do I leave it blank?
You put none.
You put none. If you leave it blank, that says you did not know. Okay? And listen to me. Do not draw a line. Did y'all hear me? Because we're going to use that for something else. All right? It's what part of what we're going to study today. All right. Vertical shift.
Put up to.
Up 2. All right. Don't let me forget the vertical shift. This morning when I graphed the whole stinking thing, and then the kids started laughing, and they were like, Miss David, you didn't use the vertical shift. Like, what? I told y'all it was a bad morning. All right, so the rest of this stuff we're going to do after we finish our graph, okay? So, if I don't have a horizontal shift, then what is my first tick mark? 0. Very good. 0. Okay? Now, how do I find all the other ones?
You add your
Period. I gotta find that Q, right? So Q is equal to the period divided by 4. So that is pi over 4. Alright? So I start at the very first point, which is 0 in this case, because we didn't have a horizontal shift. So 0 plus pi over 4 is what? Pi over 4. Then I go pi over 4 plus pi over 4. Okay? Now look, if you're having a hard time following, then this might help you. Alright? This is Q right here. So every time I'm adding Q to my tick mark. Okay? So what's pi over 4 plus pi over 4? 2 pi over 4. Yeah. So now I'll say 2 pi over 4 plus pi over 4. And what do you get? 3 pi over 4. Okay? I found 3 of them. Can I just go from here?
Yeah.
Do you see the pattern? 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4. What's the next one? 4 pi over 4. What's the next one? 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, and 8 pi over 4. Now, whenever I put my tick marks up here on my graph, I need to make sure
Simplify.
they're always reduced and simplified, right? Okay, so the first one is pi over 4. The second one is 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2. The next one is 3 pi over 4. And the next one is 4 pi over 4, which is pi. Now, it said that one period was pi, so that's my halfway mark. Okay, here's gonna be my second period. All right, he's going 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4 is
3 pi over 2.
good. 7 pi over 4. And 8 pi over 4 is 2 pi.
So it went all the way.
So yeah, but that's gonna be 2 periods because I shortened it. Notice what happened, guys. Notice what happened. I put a number here that's bigger than 1,
And it went.
but he's with an X. So he does the opposite. Instead of doubling that period, making it twice as long, he made it half as short. You see what I'm saying? Half as long, I guess I should
A
say.
little bit.
No, I
Okay.
understand that part. I don't know how.
How? Because X's are weird and they always do the opposite of what you would do. Instead of multiplying by 2, you divide by this number. Okay? Alright? So it's kind of like you multiply by its reciprocal. Alright? So that's what he's doing. If I put a number in there between 0 and 1, like 1/2, that's going to lengthen that period and stretch that thing out. Then his period is going to be twice as long. It would be 4 pi instead of 2 pi. Okay? So he's still doing those weird things that we always know the X's do. Alright? So at 0 is my y-axis. Now this is what I'm fixing to show you now is why vertical shifts are not a big deal. Okay? So I'm going to put he goes up 2. So 1, 2. So now this is what I do. Alright, you don't have to do this, but y'all really, honestly,
Probably should.
I think, yeah, it's really the best thing to do.
Isn't it 3?
My vertical shift, 2, up 2.
But I mean like,
My amplitude is 3, but watch this, okay? So I'm gonna take care of that vertical shift. So y'all, what's gonna happen is this curve that was right here is gonna be shifted up 2 units. So at 2, I'm gonna make a really light dotted line because this is going to be my new x-axis. Do you understand that? Yes, it is. It's going to be the middle of the curve, that
So
middle
you-
line. So this is my new middle. Okay? Where my middle has always been here, now I shifted it up 2 units. Why do I not make it a solid line? It is not part of my graph. It's kind of a cheat for me. Okay? So now my amplitude will go up 3 units from where?
2.
Yeah, from this middle. 1, 2, 3. So 3, 4, 5. Did that affect the max?
yeah.
Yes. Will it affect the min? Yes, you shifted your middle up 2 units. Okay? So 1, 2, I'll need a little negative one down here. All right? So I'm going to graph my curve. So look at the things that my brain does, okay? Because these are the things that's going to happen. First of all, you're going to get busy doing all this stuff, and then you're going to just start graphing a curve. People, you better look at what curve you're supposed to be graphing, all right? Because a lot of times you'll just graph the wrong one. So we're graphing a cosine curve. It is not flipped. I didn't write the word flip anywhere. All right, so where does he start? At the top. I have no horizontal shift, so he starts at 0. Okay? So from my new middle, I go up 3, and I make a dot. And then I go to the middle, and then I go to the bottom. And then I go back to the middle. Are y'all with me? Okay? And then I go back to the top. Back to the middle. Back to the bottom. Back to the middle. And back to the top. And then, remember when you're drawing your curve, sneak away from that top point and then sneak up on that bottom point. Sneak away from the bottom point and then sneak up on the top point. Alright? It's the only way you can really draw a nice, pretty curve. And it's still, even then, it takes practice.
Yeah, because mine don't look too good.
Okay? Alright, so what's my max? 5. What's my min?
-1.
Okay, pay attention to this. I put these two in there, x-intercepts and y-intercepts. I'm gonna go shut the door, because the rich kids are coming. Okay, so pay attention to this. Y'all listen. If I were looking at, this is the problem that we just did, right? No, it's not.
Why did you
This is our first one. I'm like, I hate to even put this on there because this is the problem we messed up on. All right, look, here's my question. If I asked you what the x-intercepts were for this problem, negative pi over 3, negative pi over 6, 0, pi over 6, and pi over 3. You see what I'm saying? You would have to write all of those down. Are there more than that?
Yes.
But I'm only asking for the ones that you have on your graph, okay? Look at this guy right here. Because you had a vertical shift, I don't care if you shift up or you shift down, what happens is that these middle points are no longer on my axis. So look at my x-intercepts. First of all, does it have x-intercepts?
Yes.
Yes. Can you look at them and tell what they are?
No.
So we're going to draw a line. What does the line say? It says it's got x-intercepts,
You just
but
don't
I
know
can't
where.
find them right now. You don't have the skills to find them. We could find them on the calculator, but I didn't teach you how to graph it on a calculator, and I will not. Okay?
So all we gotta do is just draw a line.
You
and
just
you'll-
gotta draw the
And
line.
you'll know what, okay.
I'll know. If you write none, I'm going to mark it wrong.
So what if we know there are some, and what if we just put the line through every single time?
Then you'll miss them.
But we know what they are, but me personally cannot find them.
Because let me get this straight, all right? Let me understand what you're saying. So you're telling me that if you graphed this guy right here, that you could not look at that and tell where those x-intercepts are.
Yeah, see, but the
That's what
problem
you're
is-
saying to me.
No, I'm saying like with yours, right? So you know how you messed up on like the graphing part? And what if we know that we messed up, but we still know that there are like x-intercepts, but we messed them up, so we're not gonna put them there.
I'm so lost.
Then you'll just miss
It's
it.
confusing me every day.
Okay? So, all right, so here we go. What's my y-intercept? 5. Okay, now listen to this. Listen to this. Y'all, if you have a horizontal shift, might your y-intercept be a line also?
Oh.
If your y-axis is not a tick mark down here, you won't know where it crosses. I mean, I'll know it'll be between two numbers, but I won't really know where. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So later on, we'll learn how to solve things like that, but we're just not doing it right now. All right, what's my domain?
Negative infinity, negative
And what's my range? -1 to +5. Always inclusive, okay? Be careful and don't look at the amplitude and think that's always my range, okay?
Wait, so always.
It is this, watch this. If I go up 2, this is a +2. 3 + 2 is 5, okay? When I go down, it's -3 + 2 is -1. For those of you mathy people that like to do it that way. You can do that, but you have to be careful. All right? I'm just a picture person myself, so I use the picture. All right, anybody got a question?
Wait, so the range is always gonna be inclusive?
Yes,
Okay.
because you went up to that max and you went down to that min.
Okay.
All right, those were points on my graph. All right, so here's your next problem. Now, what did I tell you about this next problem?
The bomb.
You're gonna try and
Yes,
trick us.
this is the bomb.
There you go.
Here we go. Y is equal to, this example 7. All right, y is equal to -3 minus 2 times the sine, open parentheses, 4x plus 2 pi, close the parentheses. You are going to find the amplitude, the period, the horizontal shift, the vertical shift, the max, the min, the x-intercept, the y-intercept, the domain, and the range.
I don't even know what's up.
I would draw my line up more towards the top of this, instead of in the middle. Push it up just a little bit, just because I know a little more. And then put your tick marks, 9 of them.
You gonna do this with us?
Okay. Can we just wait for you to do this with us?
You'll learn more if you do in sections like I'm gonna tell you to, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So the first thing I'm gonna tell you to do after you finish all of this, the first thing I want you to do is, obviously, this thing needs to be rewritten, okay? Y'all, listen to me. Not only do you need to be factoring something out, but this thing does not look right. When I look at it, I go, whoa, wait a minute. What?
Something's
Two
right.
numbers before.
Yeah, he's got 2 numbers before it.
Can you
What?
combine those?
Can I combine those two? Can I subtract this -2 and this -2 sine something?
No.
Y'all, those are not like terms.
Move it to the end.
Oh, move this guy to the end. He's your D, okay? So you rewrite it. Go, you have 30 seconds.
So,
Rewrite it. You got 30 seconds. If you know how to do it, then it'll not take you that long.
I got that, I got to prove that I was wrong.
You've got to also factor. What are you trying to factor out?
That 4x.
That,
Two seconds.
just the
No, the
4.
four.
Just the 4.
Hope
No,
you're
no,
Are you done with it?
no, I just want you to rewrite it. That's all I asked you to do. Rewrite it.
You know how to do it?
Okay, so first thing y'all said was put this guy at the end, so I'm not gonna write him. So I'm starting off as -2 sine. I'm gonna take that 4 out.
Oh.
Factoring out is the same as what? Watch this, guys. If you still haven't gotten it, I'm gonna show you a little trick that might help you. That's what you're doing, people. These 4's cancel out. What are you left with? X. Plus. This 2 and this 4 reduce. 2 goes into there 1 time and 2 goes into there 2 times. What are you left with? There you go. And then my little -3, he goes on the end.
Wait.
Now he's written, that's this number right here. Now he's written in the proper form. He is written, y'all look, he is written exactly like this, it's like this one, but the word sign's here. See, there's my A, sine B, X, my C, and there's my D. See how pretty that is? Like, good night, people, we're just looking at it and it's screaming answers at us, okay? So, I want you to do all the way to the vertical shift. I'll give you 1 minute. All the way to the vertical shift. Go. Okay, you got it? All right, what's my amplitude? 2. What's gonna be the careless mistake?
People aren't gonna like flip.
-2. But,
That's a-
yeah, that negative, you better write the word flip here, because if you're anything like me, you're going to start to graph that thing and you'll never even look up there. You'll just go, sine curve, I got it. And it won't make any difference to you. period. The period is 2 pi over b. What's b?
4.
So 2 pi over 4
So it's just gonna be
reduces
pi over
down
2.
to pi over 2.
Now horizontal shift, I got stumped up.
Okay? Horizontal shift. Remember, this is with the x's. X's are weird. They're opposite of what you think. So what does this plus sign mean?
Left.
Left what? Pi over 2. Very good. Once I find that left pi over 2, does that tell me what this first tick mark is?
Yes.
What?
Negative
Pi over 2. Very good.
Good job, Sean.
Okay.
Picking this up.
What about my vertical shift? He's out here, guys, and he's exactly what
He's
you
down
think
3.
he is.
Down
Down 3. So as soon as I write that down, what am I gonna go down here and do?
Find your
Make-
key.
Fine.
Well,
Find the
And then
quad,
put
the
your-
first
well,
quadrant.
we don't know where our y-axis is, okay? But I do need to remember that I'm gonna pull that thing down 3, okay? So I have to be really careful when I graph.
Down 2?
So let's,
The period over 4.
Oh,
Three.
down, okay, yeah. I forgot what,
2 has 1 hump, 3 has 2 hump.
I wrote flip, but I forgot what that means.
Okay,
I knew I was supposed to put it, but I don't remember.
alright.
Wait, wait,
Alright, so what do we need to find now?
Q.
Q. We gotta find Q because we gotta find our tick marks. Alright? So the first thing I want you to do is find Q. You have 20 seconds. Go.
Wait,
You're finding Q. And look, leave you some room down here because we know we shifted that thing down. That's why I told you to write those little axes a little above the center. What'd you find for Q?
pi over 8.
Okay, so it's period over 4. So it's pi over 2 divided by 4. How do you divide fractions?
Easiest pi, flip the second mark.
There you go. So that's a 4 over 1. So when I'm flipping, it becomes 1 over 4. Top times top, bottom times bottom. So this is not Q. Okay? So, find me the second tick mark right now. Find me the second tick mark. You have 30 seconds.
Oh, wait a minute.
Do you know the first tick mark?
Mm-hmm.
No.
There it is right there. We wrote it down.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is what you should have done. Negative pi over 2 plus pi over 8 plus my Q. You have to have a common denominator between 2 and 8. What's it going to be?
8.
8. This one's already over an 8. This guy over here, I got to multiply by what? 4? So that becomes negative 4 pi. What's negative 4 pi over 8 plus 1 pi over 8?
3 pi.
Negative 3 pi over 8. Do you know how to find the next one?
Negative 2 pi over 8.
No, you have to show your work.
You have to plus.
For 3 of them. Negative 3 pi over 8 plus pi over 8. That's negative 2 pi over 8. Are you with me? You gotta find one more. Pulling down again. Negative 2 pi over 8 plus pi over 8. Negative 1 pi over 8. Do you see the pattern?
Yep.
By 1.
It's going by 1/8, right? So, negative 3 pi over 8, negative 2 pi over 8, negative 1 pi over 8. What? 0. And then what's the next one?
Pi over 8.
Pi over 8. What's the next one?
2 pi over 8.
What's the next one?
3 pi over 8.
And then
4
4 pi over 8. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all of them. All right, so let's put them up there. So this one is negative pi over 2. The next one is negative 3 pi over 8. The next one is negative 2 pi over 8, which is what?
Negative pi over 4.
The next one is negative pi over 8. The next one is 0. What does that mean?
That is your.
X and Y intercept.
That's my y-axis, people.
There you go, Colton.
Like,
You said
Pi.
you were taking.
Why? Because it's 0.
Wait a minute.
Where's the y-axis on the
But
x-axis?
there's been.
At 0.
Horizontal shift.
0. I know,
But
but
that's still your
it's
y-axis.
still my y-axis.
You shift on the y-axis, but that's where your
It's
y-axis
Still my
is.
y-axis. Your y-axis is where x is 0. Look, watch this. Y'all trying to make something difficult. Look, do you agree that this is a coordinate plane?
Yes.
What's this point right here?
0, 0.
So it's where x is 0. Do you agree with that?
But yesterday we shifted it because of the horizontal shift.
I put it where x was 0.
How do you shift the axis?
Okay?
Axis
Okay.
shift.
She was talking about right or left. We went left of the curve. Okay, so the next one's gonna be pi over 8. The next one's gonna be 2 pi over 8, which is pi over 4. The next one's 3 pi over 8.
And then power two.
And the next one's 4 pi over 8, which is pi over 2. Okay?
That's all right.
The next thing I'm gonna do is my vertical shift. It goes down 3. So -1, -2, -3. What am I gonna do right here,
Write that
people?
imaginary line.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my little lightly dotted line. This is the new middle.
Okay, would
Pencil is the new black.
you give me about,
Orange is the new
can
black.
you give me like 30 seconds to write that mistake? Rewrite all of this over here.
Is that-
30 seconds, just so I can rewrite it.
We're gonna have to have a talking stage.
I've never seen that show. So,
Oh. You,
Sure.
is it bad?
That's right up there with Survivor.
Oh, that's my favorite show.
No, I'm just kidding.
Don't watch it, don't watch it.
Like Survivor's my favorite show. It comes on tonight.
Do you have like the contest with your family? My family has one. My grandma, she's just like you, she runs it. And she texted me and my brother and we were like, no, we're good. And she was like, I put y'all in, I'll pay y'all's entry fee. I was like, oh.
Oh,
I did
okay.
I did that with your brother, I lost $15.
Okay, so this is -4. My amplitude is 2, so obviously from the middle I'm gonna have to go down 2, -4, -5, up 2's covered. Everybody agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now I'm gonna start my curve. Okay? So what curve are you drawing?
Fine. So that
Sine
starts in the
curve.
middle.
Where does the sine curve start?
In the middle.
In the middle, and it goes up,
Then back to the middle.
but
It's flipped, so
it's
it goes down.
flipped. So instead
So
of
just
starting at the
turn
middle and
upside
going
down.
up, he's starting at the middle and going down.
No.
Don't start him over here on 0. He starts back here. This is my first tick mark, people. So, in the middle, down 2.
Oh, wait,
Back to the middle, up 2. Back to the middle, down 2. Back to the middle, up 2. Back to the middle. All right? Draw this beautiful curve.
My grass are sad.
Wait, so it's starting on 3?
-3.
Yeah. I mean, you go down how many times? 3?
Amplitude's 2.
Okay.
Are you gonna pick up like major points since we can't draw it like you do?
No, I've been practicing this a long time. I should be better than you, okay?
Can that be like the math, like you've been practicing all this for
No,
some time?
no,
Oh,
Not
that
for
can't.
math.
Oh, okay.
What's the maximum?
-1.
What's the minimum?
-5.
What's my x-intercept?
None.
That's the
None.
line.
Do I draw,
No, because there's something.
I don't know.
y'all look, do I draw a line for the x-intercepts?
No.
People, there are no x-intercepts. You can't find them because guess what? There aren't any.
But you gotta put.
Do you
some-
see the difference between that and this? Do you see the difference? These, there are some, but you would have to find them algebraically or on a calculator, okay?
Okay, and so
Yeah.
for, you would put none?
None,
Okay.
none. What about my y-intercept?
-3.
-3. Now y'all remember what I said, sometimes when you put a horizontal shift in there, the y-axis will not be a tick mark, and then it would be just like the one we drew the line, you wouldn't be able to, it would just fall in between, 2 integers, okay, or something that you had marked. Domain
Negative infinity to plus.
and range,
-1 inclusive.
-5.
-5
Oh, you gotta do
inclusive.
the smallest one first, that's not
Yeah,
good.
gotta do the smallest one first. Okay, anybody got a question?
No.
Okay, so I'm fixing to hand you out your worksheet and we're gonna talk about it because there's a few little things. All right, Travis, will you turn us off up there, please?
Hey, baby, give me a phone.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.